What if I told you at the end of this video, you're going to know how to answer the question, can I have the raw photos? Every photographer is going to get this question multiple times. I'm going to tell you how I answer it. What if I also told you that by the end of this video, you're going to know how to answer the question of, can I get a discount ahead of time? Like, this is our first shoot. Can I get a discount? And if you give me a discount, then I'll refer everyone I know to you. And what if I also said that you're going to learn how to say, no, you may not have all of the photos that we don't use, because a lot of times a client will say, I paid for the shoot. Why can't I have all of the photos? Let's go into how I answer them, well into my career, how you can answer them, and why I do it a certain way. So number one, the one that everyone is going to get, it's like a prophecy. Everyone's going to get this question multiple times, the raw photos. Can I have the raw photos? Why can't I have the raw photos? So I normally, the first thing I do is it's a 3-step process for me. Number one, I let them know it's not just you. Like, you're not the only one that cannot have my raw photos. Then I'm going to go into explaining it to them, how it's going to benefit them. And then number 3, I'm going to give them an actual analogy, something that is very relatable for them. So let's get started. So when a client says, why can't I have the raw photos? The first thing I will say is, I'm really sorry that this is something that is protocol for my business. It's been like that since the beginning. I don't give the raw photos to anybody, whether it's a magazine or a restaurant or a commercial brand or a private family. Across the board, blanket, uniform, umbrella, nobody gets the raw photos. So this way, right off the bat, it's not like you can't have it. It's like, hey, this is a rule across the board. You can't have the raw photos, and that applies to everybody. Remember, I told you that's the first part. Now, the second part is I explain to them why. So what I'll normally say is, and I always give this example of like when I started with the Madonna tour or the Madonna office. When she went on tour, I think there were only about 8 images, and you can see those on screen that she launched this world tour with. It was over and over and over. It was like radio promotions and billboards and you name it, internet and TV, magazines, etc. These images over and over and over. Now, Madonna clearly, with Stephen Klein, who is a god, could have put up 100, 200 images out there. But the idea is that you only see the best of the best. The photographer wants that, the record label wants that, the recording artist wants that. People will remember you by only what you give them. So why would you give them anything less than the best? So in this case, I'll say if they are, now I don't do weddings, but if I was to have a bride, I say, with the family portraits, these are the best ones. Anything else, you're not even going to use it because it doesn't look the best. You only want to give them the best. Otherwise, why even give anything that's mediocre? And then I'll also say, my job is to make sure that you look your best, whether it's your wedding day or you have a newborn baby or a restaurant or a record cover. My job is to make sure you look the best. So why would we offer anything that is less than the best? So once I explain this to them, like, number one, it is not just against you, it's a blanket rule. Number two, I want you to look your best. I'm on your side. And then number 3, I give them an analogy of the restaurant issue. We've all been to restaurants. It's one of those things of, listen, in a restaurant, of course, there's take home, and I'm not talking about take home. I'm talking about the things that never made it to your plate the first time because it was created by a chef. So you would never go to a chef and you say, excuse me, can you just like look at the chef and see if like the chef has any like cut up things on the cutting boards, and I just want all the stuff that didn't make it onto the plate. Can you put it in a little box and I want to take it home? No, you would never do such a thing because you only want the best of the best. That's what that chef who's an artist wants for you too, is that the best of the best is going to show up on your plate because that is the branding of the restaurant, the chef, the staff, and they want you to have the best experience. You would never go and say, hey, all the little scraps of meat, all the little bones that didn't make it, I want to take all those home with me. What are you going to do with those? So once I give them that example, they kind of just laugh like, okay, I get your point. And I actually appreciate very much that you're not going to flood us with anything and you're going to let us walk away with the best of the best. This is how we build legacies. Okay. Now, the second one is somebody's going to say, can I get a discount? And they're going to ask for the discount ahead of time. Now, there's something on screen. These are my words. I want you to memorize them, and I want you to always remember them and use them if you have to. Okay. We do not give a discount today, hoping to work together tomorrow. But tomorrow, we may give a discount because we worked together yesterday. The difference is today, we're not giving you less, we're not giving you a smaller price, hoping that we'll work together tomorrow. But tomorrow we may see my business, my choice, my camera, my choice. We may give a discount because we worked together yesterday. And oftentimes you'll give them a little something. So in this case, what I would do to a client that would say, can I please get a discount? I say, you know, there's nothing that makes me more happy. So I give them hope, and then I give them a little bit of pew. I always say, there is nothing that makes me more happy than rewarding repeat clients. And I think that when we have such an incredible shoot, I have no doubt in my mind that you're going to be a repeat client that I'm going to have the privilege to collaborate with over and over and over. And then I would love to talk to you about how I can reward the loyalty. Man, you just said, I want to reward the loyalty. Loyalty means you have to be loyal to me and my business, and you got to come back. And by the way, you don't have to give them less money. You could say an additional 30 minutes. You could say an additional hour, additional prints. Why cut the money out? It's so simple. Told you, by the end of this video, you're going to be learning a lot. Now, the third one is, what if they say, can I have the images? I paid for them. Why can't I just have all of them? Well, it's a little bit of that raw photo example. So the first thing that you want to do is recognize that a person that asks you such a question is not very knowledgeable in your field of practice, photography. So this would be a really good time to explain to them. And you don't want to mansplain to them, and you don't want to just like talk down to them. You might say, hey, so would you be okay if I explain to you generally how photo rights and usage rights work, or are you familiar with it? Give them an out, and they'll say, oh, sure, you can explain it to me. And you say, okay, thank you for that opportunity. Number one, I don't want it to be lost that I'm incredibly honored that you want more of my work. So let my ego enjoy this for a second. But number two, I want to explain to you that generally in art, whether it's music or movies or photography, that the owner is the artist that created it. And then what they do is they license that out for usage. So in a personal usage like weddings and baby showers and things like that, what happens is that you generally would say, here, these are your images to use however way you wish in a personal way. So that's totally fine. They can print that, they can put it up on walls and frames and make copies for their friends and family. That doesn't affect it. You as the artist still own the images. They just have the right, the license and the usage to be able to use this image given the parameters that you've laid out for them. But what they cannot do is, what if somebody is a beautiful bride and you shot an even more beautiful image of her, and then all of a sudden she wants to have a massive billboard in her town because she is starting her own wedding venue and she wants to put her own picture up on the billboard. At that point, it is now intruding on the creative space, the artist space, and it has gone from a promo or a personal usage, and it has gone now to commercial. See, the original agreement was between you and the client as a personal matter, the wedding or the baby shower or what have you. But now that it becomes commercial, the photographer, yourself, the artist, is owed extra money because of additional rights and usage. So when you explain it to them that way, they're kind of like, oh, I kind of get it. You're like, sorry, it's all legal mumbo jumbo, but I just wanted you to understand. The third thing is, just like the raw photos, you only want to have the best of the best out there. And an analogy really works very well with them, just like I did with the raw photos and I did the restaurant, is imagine you bought a CD and you still have a CD player. Or imagine you are streaming something and you download a movie for $7 and you can watch it for 48 hours. So you now got the license to be able to enjoy that movie for up to 48 hours and you're good. But that doesn't mean that the studio now lost all rights to that movie. It would work the same with your photography. If you go to a Drake concert, you can still enjoy it, you can still film it and put it on your social media, but you don't really own it because Drake is still the owner of that music or whatever his contractual obligations are. The same thing would happen as a photographer. Once you explain it, they kind of understand it. And once you've explained it, they're kind of like, oh my God, I regret saying anything. But you've educated your client and you've done so in a very respectful way. All three of these work very well for me. Once I explain it to them, they're like, oh my God, now I understand why people say this about copyrights and commercial rights and stuff. And you're like, yeah, and I'll always work with you and always take care of you. But I just wanted you to know that that's how it works. And that's why you can't have all of them. Yeah, I love to reward my clients on their loyalty. But usually that happens after we've booked a couple of shoots. So I can't wait to build that relationship with you. I hope that this helped you. I got a channel that I put a lot of work into making sure that you do well. So if you can, please subscribe or hit a thumbs up. Definitely a thumbs up would help this video. And of course, if you have any kind of comments or questions, put them down there. I am probably the only photo channel that reads every single comment and respects and replies right back. Okay, my name is Walid Azami. My work is right there, if you can see it, between all the stripes here and here. Thank you so much for watching. I truly hope this helped you out.